All right. Hello, everyone. My name is Cole Williamson. I'm one of the librarians at Lone Star Montgomery. And just so you know, our main function at the library is first to help you find the various resources you need for your papers and projects. So a lot of times you can get assignments that say you need 3 to 5 sources, and they have to have so many that are academic journals, so many that are primary resources. And one of the things we do is we help you understand what those things are and if the things that you have found meet those requirements. We also help with citation. And then the other thing we mainly help with is teaching skills and information literacy. So this is concepts about how information is created, how it's disseminated, and how you can evaluate it for authenticity, for authority, and such as that. And we're going to talk a little bit about uh, both some of the concepts, and then also I'm going to walk you through what the library has to offer so that you can locate things and also know how to contact us in the future. If you have any questions, just let me know. I've got my chat window open, so I'm going to kind of glance at that every so often to make sure I don't miss anything. And with that, I'm going to go ahead and get started. Okay, so one of the big challenges in research is the beginning of the research process. And there's a few places you can go. The librarians, for starters, can kind of give you an idea of where to begin your research. We have resource guides. I'm going to show you where those are located. And then also reference sources. While you can't necessarily use those as citations on your paper, they can really help you with background information. Okay, and there's three main resources that we can connect you with. The first is books or ebooks, and there are, of course, popular and scholarly versions of these. And they're going to be best for introductions to topics, overall background information, basically because they're going to cover a wide breadth of the topic itself. And so you're going to be able to find a lot more of your basic information. And that background information is really important because of once you get to the next one, articles or, these in the databases would be academic journals. A lot of these, especially the academic ones, are written by experts for their experts. So they're not necessarily going to spend time explaining terminology that they use. They're going to assume that the reader has a basic understanding of what it is they're talking about. And so since those are the articles you're likely going to be using in academic research, it really helps to understand, do background research to understand some of the basics of the topic that they're discussing in those articles. And finally, websites are, basically just general websites are good for statistical information, especially things like .govs or .orgs will let you know the official policies or stands of those various organizations. And then also to find information on public opinion. It's going to give you a good assessment of where the general public is on an area. Because a lot of times you may find that there might be a consensus amongst experts on a topic, but that may not exist within the general public for whatever reason. Okay, and popular sources, again, you're very familiar with these, and if you go to like the magazine rack of a Barnes and Noble, or if you walk through the airport and see most of those, this is the vast majority of publications that most people have encountered. They're generally meant for general audiences. They basically are meant for people who don't really have a lot of knowledge in the subject that they're speaking about. So it's meant to be introductory. The topics they speak about are basically designed for someone who is a novice in that subject. They're also very colorful. They use a lot of marketing. They're trying to basically sell that to the general public. And so there's going to be a lot more ads, a lot more eye-catching material, a lot more photographs. And again, it's just going to be in everyday language. And that is as opposed to scholarly sources or academic journals. You may not have encountered these before college research. They're, like I said, written by experts for other experts. This is how they share new information and new data with each other from their various research avenues. And they're going to be very plain, kind of like in this image you see here. It's going to be just mostly black text. The only images you will see are going to be charts and graphs and various other data that they've collected. And, to someone who doesn't follow this field, it can be very dry. And again, they're going to be the language is going to be very field specific and very formal. And so a lot of times you can find these, you can purchase these, they are rather expensive. but you generally don't see these on newsstands very often. Okay, so when you're doing background research, and you're beginning to develop a search strategy, because a lot of times I say research can be very circular, and that the more you learn about a topic, the more keywords, the more things it gives you to search for, so that you can kind of keep pursuing more and more specific avenues of research. So when you're doing background research, you want to focus on identifying keywords, things that pop out, things that look important that you want to follow up on. And then you want to brainstorm as you find those. What are other ways of saying those terms once you understand what they mean? That basically, because once you have synonyms, it's going to help you locate things in databases depending on how they may have been listed. And then finally, you'll mix and match those terms in databases using Boolean logic. And we're going to discuss that, especially once we get to the demonstration. Okay, and this is kind of giving you an idea of list of various keywords that you could locate and different types of sources they can be located in. And one of the things you're going to find in databases is that you can't really use natural language searching like you would in Google. You have to use very specific terminology. So the list of keywords you're seeing here, this is going to be the types of things you're going to be typing into a database search bar. Very precise and very focused. And again, this is kind of an example of what I was talking about, looking through a reference database that we have, Credo reference. In this article about the FDA, you can see highlighted, these are things that might be important for research, things that could work as good search terms. So you're going through and you're locating, you're basically creating a search vocabulary for the topic that you're going to be looking up for your research. And as you begin to put together all these ideas, all these keywords, you're basically trying to arrive at a basic research question that you can kind of use to direct your more advanced searching when you get into some of these databases. And so this is kind of an example of how all that background research we saw in some of the slides before was put together into a basic research question. This can be revised as you perform research, as you learn more about your topic, to be more precise. Okay, and then once you have that research question, again, once you get into the databases, you can kind of start taking it apart and looking for different synonyms or more specific words for some of the ideas that you're coming across in your research question. So basically more focused, more specific, or sometimes finding other ways of saying the same thing, such as with United States here. Okay, and in the databases, and most search engines as well, use some form of Boolean logic. And you'll see these words and dropdowns. These three words, and or not, basically act as commands within a database. So it's going to default to and. So the way that works is all the words you put into your search bar is going to look for any article that has all of those words in it. Now, or is going to be the next most common used. And this is, like I was saying, if there are a lot of synonyms for a term, if there's more than one way of saying that topic or that idea, you can put or into one of those search boxes, and that's going to help you cover more bases, but it will increase the number of results you get. And then finally, not is probably the least used. And this is going to be in cases where you have something that is popping up that uses the same term, but has nothing to do with what it is you're researching. And so using that Boolean logic, you can say not, and then something related to that other usage, and it will go ahead and sift out all those results for you. And this is an example of what you might see. In fact, we're going to be looking at the specific database here in just a little bit. So, and also you can see that you can type these in to the search bars as well, and they work just the same as if you were putting them in the dropdown. And so it's assuming that there's an and in these spaces often as well. Okay, another tactic you can use is phrase searching. And this is important because if I were to put chemical additives into a database search bar, it's going to search for each of those words separately. Now, it will look for articles that has both those words, but they may not necessarily be together next to each other. And that could, drastically change the context. So if you put them in quotations, it's going to tell it to treat this as a phrase. Look for this as if it's one word. And it's going to look through articles and find instances where these two words are together as a phrase to kind of make sure that the relevance of the articles is increased. And of course, once you locate articles, you want to evaluate, and this is especially important if you're finding things outside of the databases, if you're looking at various websites online. So you want to think about who is the author, what sort of expertise do they have, how much experience do they have any affiliations that might in some way bias what it is they're saying. Accuracy, again, there's reasons why we always have you locate more than one source for research, and that is to make sure that there's just not one article that happens to be a standout. You want to make sure that the information is consistent from multiple sources. Something else to look at is with purpose. A lot of times, especially with reputable news agencies, they will let you know if what you're looking at is something like an opinion piece. They'll label it such as that, or viewpoint, or analysis. And this is important because it's letting you know they're not just giving you facts, but they're also trying to provide a persuasive argument using those facts. And so you always want to think about the purpose of the resource that you are looking at. Relevance, obviously, just you want to make sure it adequately covers the topic you're looking at. And then with timeliness or currency, just is it either the newest information possible, or is it as close to a specific event as possible? So those are both ways you could look at timeliness in that manner. Okay, as you go, it's very important, keep track of any articles you look at that you think you might want to go ahead and use in your paper. Even if you don't end up using them, it's much better that than getting to the end of your work paper, beginning your work cited, and realizing you didn't actually keep track of those articles. You have to go back and find them again. So email them to yourself, save them to a flash drive, whatever you need to do to keep track of articles as you go, and that'll help you out a lot in the long run. And these are some starting places for, in this case, it's going to be an example of something like for current events or controversial issues type research. And again, this kind of gives you an idea of what librarians can provide you with, because we have tons of subscription databases that covers a wide range of different subjects. And so we can generally give you a good idea of where to begin depending on your topics of research with the various resources we have. Okay, and this is also how you get in contact with us. And like I said, I'm going through a lot today. I don't expect you to remember everything I tell you. Just if you remember nothing else, try and remember how to get a hold of us. And I'm also going to show you where on the website our contact information is located as well. Okay. All right, let me go ahead and we're going to go to the Lone Star website. And basically from here, I'm going to try and give you an idea of where most of everything is located so that you can begin your research on your own. Like I said before, we have access to a lot of information. So there's no way I can show you all of it, but hopefully this will give you a good starting place and good idea of what we have. So from the main website, to begin with, you're going to look for this link right here that says Libraries. And this is going to take you to the shared Lone Star page. And basically all the various campuses share this web page. And so you can search through here. We have tips to get started, but under articles, basically this is going to give you access to all the various articles that are available at all the various campuses. So you can search for various databases by subject category. These are the various ebook collections that we have. We're getting a lot more use of those out of those here lately. And be sure and select and search through multiple collections because they're going to have access to different publications. So you might find something in eBook Central or EBSCO that the other one doesn't have on the same topic or vice versa. We also have links for videos. Normally this is where you would search through the catalog. And not only does this access the Lone Star catalog, but also Harris County Public and Montgomery County Public. Unfortunately, a lot of these locations are not fully open, and even if some of them are open, they may not be transmitting physical items. So just so you know, that is available in the future. Normally that ties into a lot, but just wanted to make sure you understand the current limitations going on right now. And then also here you can select to chat with a librarian. Again, you could get a librarian from any campus, but we're all trained to handle academic research questions, or you can find contact information for your specific campus. Now, if we scroll down, you're going to see these links here labeled as research guides. And we want to go ahead and select the one that says LSC-Montgomery. And this is going to take you to the resource portal we've created for students at our campus. Here at the top, we have a scrolling marquee that just kind of gives you up-to-date information. And we also have a virtual book display that we update every 3 to 4 months. You can navigate using these tabs or these buttons here. And you'll see there's several different options. Right here, you're going to find contact info. This will take you to that same chat service, but then we also have telephone and email so that you can access contact for the various librarians that are here at Montgomery. Scrolling down, you're going to see this big link down here. Click to make an appointment. We are currently doing in-person appointments for reference services, but it is by appointment only. So if you select this link, it's going to give you a list of all the various services available. The librarians are located under research consultation, but you'll notice we also house all the tutoring in the library as well. The service desk is going to be for things like making your student ID, printing out something, getting computer access, study room access. And so once you select a service, you just pick a date and time, and then we meet you at the door to let you in to use the facilities there. Okay, now scrolling up, you're going to see these 2 drop downs, and these are our various resource guides. Now we have subject resource guides here. These are going to be starting places for research in a wide variety of different subject areas. And then on the right, we have special topics, so things like citation, career research, and various other things that don't fit into a specific subject area. As an example, I'm going to go ahead and show you the current events resource guide. I'm going to select that and hit go. Okay, once you get into any of these subject guides, they are arranged the same, and it's meant to mirror the steps of the research process. So when I select Get Started, it's going to give you some things to think about, such as knowing your due date, knowing your citation style, tips on selecting topics, and where to go for background research. And the next tab is going to get into finding sources. And this is where you're going to find links for physical items, articles from databases, and then also any linked websites for that subject area. Now, also over here, you're going to see links for evaluate resources. It's going to give you some of those tips I discussed earlier and some additional ones as well. Use your sources will take you to the Writing Center, the Right Place website. This will take you to our citation guide. And then this last one is going to take you to the tutoring guide. As I said, we're all under the same division, so we're all housed together. Okay, if I go to the databases, there's going to be several tabs here where information is divided up. And the first one I'm going to look at is opposing viewpoints. And I just kind of want to give you an idea of some of the various databases we have and what they may look like. And again, I'm off campus currently, so it's going to ask me to log in. You can either use your library barcode, or you can go to this link here and log in with your My Lone Star. Okay, this here is an example of a subject-specific database. So we have a lot of these, and basically they're not going to have as wide of a breadth as some of the ones that are multidisciplinary, but a lot of times they're going to be, since they're focused in their area, they're going to have tips or tools that can help you search in those areas much easier. In this case, this is a current events database. So kind of looking around, if I go to this Browse Issues link, right away I'm going to get a giant alphabetical list of all sorts of various current issues that this database has articles on. And then, of course, once I select one of these, it's going to break up the information into various resource types to let me know what I have available, whether I need academic journals, if I need to find images or statistics, or if I just need news stories as well. And again, we're going to have various databases that cover all sorts of subjects such as literature research, science research. So let us know and we can help you locate various resources. Now, many of these databases will have tools to let you keep track of articles. So in this one, there's a citation feature here at the top. I can use GetLink to get a permalink that I can put into a D2L conversation. And I can also do things such as email the article to myself or save it to a OneDrive or Google Drive as well. Okay, let me go ahead and close this one. And I want to take a look at Academic Search Complete right here. And once again, we're going to log in. Okay, we're going to spend a little more time here because this is going to be one of those ones I was mentioning before that covers a wide range of different subjects. Now, they can be intimidating when you first get in here because, again, it's just going to give you this basic search bar and not a lot of direction beyond that. But once you have some background research under your belt, once you have some basic keywords to understand what it is you need to look for, you'll find you can locate articles fairly quickly once you kind of have your bearings. So I usually suggest go ahead and start with advanced search. And it's going to give you a lot more tools to play around with. And let's say we want to look up something in the topic of education. Okay, so you can see here we have a lot of results. And so this is why you understand having some ideas of keywords, how you want to focus your article or your topic is going to be the best way to find articles in databases such as this. So let's say I wanted to focus on locating articles in education of biology. And I'd like to discuss education of teenagers. And I need some more search bars, so I'm going to add one here. And let's say I want to go ahead and focus on the United States. So I'm going to go ahead and search for that. And so right away, we're way down to a much more manageable number to kind of sift through. Now, I kind of like to make sure I can refine my searches a little more. So using some of those techniques we discussed earlier, I'm going to make this an OR statement. Since I know there's multiple ways of saying this particular idea here. And then also, I want to make sure that it understands that this is a phrase or a proper name. So I'm going to go ahead and put that in quotations, and we're going to search again. Okay, it actually increased our results because of those OR statements, but we definitely covered our bases better by including some of those terms, as you can see in some of these results here. Now, if I scroll down, there are other options that the database provides to try and help me narrow things down some more. First off, databases act as indexes of articles that are published as well as collections, which means there are going to be some articles that they have information about where it was published, but it doesn't give you the full text. So I'm going to select this checkbox here. This says full text, and that's going to just make sure that I'm only seeing results that I have immediate access to. Okay. Next, I really want to look at academic journals in this case. So I'm going to go ahead and check this box. And also, right now it's going back to 1996, but I really want to look at the last 10 years. So I'm going to highlight this and type in 2010. And that helped me shave off several more results to get me down within the last 10 years. Now, of course, I can add more search terms if I need to. And there are other tools down here to use as well. But hopefully this kind of gives you an idea of how you can move through the search process. And as I read through some of these articles, let's say I select this first one. And here you're going to see that they apply subject terms to all these articles, much like we apply, or that we arrange books on the shelf by subject to make them easier to find. They apply these tags to all these various articles to help link them together. So I might look through here and find that one of these subject terms is a more precise search term than what I have in my search bar. So I could go ahead and use that instead. Or I could select this and it's going to link me to every article that has that specific subject term. And so again, like I said, as you perform research, you're going to learn more about your topic. You're going to be able to refine your searches more and more to get to where you want to be. Also on this page, I'm going to be able to locate the authors and link to other articles they have written. I can look at the source. And here I can find all sorts of information about that publication, where the article originally came from. Scrolling down, I can find a summary of the article down here. And again, especially with academic journals, it's not uncommon for them to be 30 plus pages long. So you want to make sure that this is going to be worth your time. So definitely take a look at those summaries. And again, here on the right, I can do things such as email the article to myself and include a citation along with that. Use a permalink to attach it to a D2L. Or I can attempt to save it to a Google Drive there as well. And then finally, the full text is going to be over here on the left-hand side. And you can see I can view the academic article here. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close this database. And next I want to go ahead and look at this tab right here that says recommended websites. And you can see in each of these cases we have various websites that we think are going to be helpful, provide statistical information for the subject area that we're looking at. And a lot of times we'll also link in fact-checking websites as well if we find those to be pertinent to that subject area.